12, yes, 12 people have applied for the county commissioner position vacated by Woody Spong. Ed, what are your thoughts on this pool of applicants?
Well, inquiring minds want to know, why didn't Woody Spong apply again? I mean, technically he could have.
He could have, yes, he could have.
He could have. He could have, and he could have been rejected twice.
So, but seriously, you know, we have 12 folks who I think all 12 certainly have merit, and I think they're all generally good people.
Let's run through them.
Okay.
Well, we will, but I wanted to say that my biggest, you know, that's all right. My biggest concern on this is that I think the Republican Central Committee this time around better seriously interview all 12 people.
Do you think not only if they interview 12 people that they're going to put 3 names forward like the governor has requested?
Well, the governor would probably need to ask that again. Now, he asked it the first time. I'm not sure he's asked it yet for this time. Now, he may have, and I missed it. But if the governor asked for 3 names,
The Republican
or
governor.
the Republican governor, I would suggest that they send him 3 names.
Yeah.
If O'Malley would have asked for 3 names, I'd have sent him 1.
Well, the Republican.
But this is a Republican governor in a Republican area, and and out of respect for the governor, if he asks for 3, send 3. Interview all 12, please.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important place to
Yeah,
start.
I mean, the Republican Central Committee in Washington County is like that uncle you never want to invite to Thanksgiving dinner, but he still shows up uninvited, and he says crazy things. I mean, and I don't have a high opinion of this Republican Central Committee.
Seriously?
I don't. I think that they
Tell us how you really feel, maybe.
Exactly.
Well, my opinion is that the last process with Woody Spong, it was rushed. They did not interview, like Ed said, they didn't interview all candidates, and even let candidates know
Do
they
you think
weren't
maybe
going
they had interview fatigue?
No, I think it's their
between,
job. Constitutionally, their
you know,
job.
Delegate Serafini being interviewed for senator, and then Neil
Okay.
Parrott, and then we went through filling those roles, and then the open spot on the Central Committee. Do you
Well,
think maybe they just
They should do their job. And
got
look,
worn out?
So here are the people that applied. We have Gary E. Baker, Steve Blinkenstaff, Gary E. Bachrath, Brian Fluke, William Edward Ed Forrest, William Ray Harner Jr., Wayne Kiefer, David R. Keller III, Brenda, is it Thyme?
I believe Thyme,
Thyme
Dr.
or
Thyme.
Thyme, okay. Randall Wagner, Seth Wilson, and Robin Weibel. And I'm looking at the newspaper article. It says Seth Wilson is a member of the Washington County Republican Central Committee, and he has recused himself from the process.
As he should, and so that's proper.
So now we have 8 people instead of 9 making this decision, 3 of which are unelected members. 3 people were appointed by this current Central Committee to take over. So we have essentially 5 people that were elected, 5 Republican people in Washington County who were elected, 3 unelected, making the decision, the same Central Committee who chose Woody Spong.
But here's one question I want to throw out to you. Seth Wilson, every time that there has been an open, previously elected position, he has thrown his name in and recused himself from the
But except
process.
for the county commissioner.
The last time, not the county commissioner, but he did put in for delegate.
For delegate, right.
So,
I
what
wanna-
role does he like to have?
Well, I agree with you, Henry, and I want to bring this up to you.
You know, this
Let's let
entire
the
conversation is
Democrats talk a
just
little bit.
flipping, blowing my mind,
the
to tell you the
Democrats talk
truth.
a little bit. Go
The
ahead.
entire system we have here is so cockeyed, you can't even give voice to it. We're talking about a political party appointing people to a position where in 99% of American communities, it's elected. Why do we have a Politburo
You gotta take that
by a
state.
different name appointing people? Why don't we have an election for crying out
On
loud?
both sides.
But let me
on
ask
both
you,
sides
if
of
we
the
were,
aisle.
if
You
we
don't
were
see the
Democrats Central
Democratic
Committee,
thing doing it.
Yeah, they do.
Well, we
yeah.
need to change the system.
Democrats do.
Thank you.
Then
That's
we need
exactly where I was
to
gonna
change
go
the
with
bloody
this.
system.
To a
I mean,
special election.
having a political party appointing what should be an elected office
There's
is
two solutions,
just
Carl.
wrong.
Carl, it's 2 solutions.
Charter home rule.
1, you have the special election, or 2, you take the person next down in that election cycle who got the next amount of votes.
Ron Bowers.
And that wait a minute, let me finish. And that individual gets that appointment simply because
Well-
the person who ran for office, spent money, and was vetted by the public because they got votes.
Well, they got votes, but they still would have lost. I think we ought to be able to have an election. I realize that creates a lot of change we need to go through, but it's just plain wrong to have so many offices in an area where people just are not voting for them.
well, in my opinion, I'm not going to argue with having an election, but I think as far as taxpayers go, we should wait till we have the next election to have someone temporarily appointed that they could fulfill that role up until the next election.
Well, I want
Well,
to
there's
bring
such
this.
thing as special elections in a great many jurisdictions around the
And how
country.
much time would we have to do
Well,
that?
it takes
April
time. It
26th.
takes time. It takes some money.
We could do it April 26th.
So why
but-
not,
Yeah.
why not the next person in line who got the next amount
Because
of
it's
votes?
well, and that's better than what we have. I'll go
Thank
along
you.
with that.
That's what I'm
I
trying
still
to
don't like
say.
it, but it's better than what
But
we
it's
have.
better than what we have. It's better than having somebody chosen in a back room.
Guys, it's not constitutionally permissible in Maryland.
Well, you have to change that.
I'm saying,
It's
yeah,
like
I agree
he
with
let
that.
off
Well,
by
we need-
saying
we need to
you have
change
to change
that.
the law. We have to change that law. So you put that to referendum
Yeah.
or somehow.
So-
Well,
to
why don't we
that
get back?
changed.
Why don't we dial back into talking about the candidates?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that. Does
have one-
anyone know Gary Baker?
No,
Any?
never
okay.
heard of him.
Steve Blickenstaff.
Vice mayor
Vice mayor, Clear
of
Spring.
Clear Spring. He was on the board of director of Isaac Walton, first elected in 2004. Has
He's
been
their webmaster, I believe.
yeah, and then he's up for re-election again this year, and he's 52, former county building and mechanical inspector, and currently employed with Apple Valley Waste. Gary Bockrath would be a great choice.
Gary Bockrath
Okay.
is very qualified. I've known him for a long time. He's personal friends with Secretary of the Maryland Department of Commerce, Mike Gill, and he's that's a very prominent position in Annapolis. So certainly having somebody who personally would know him would be a help for our county. I've known Brian Fluck as well too through
Yeah.
the chamber
Yeah,
and through
both of us
business.
do.
Fantastic
Brian
guy.
Fluck is I think very qualified as well. So there's two there. Ed Forrest obviously served
Yeah.
on I think the Board of Education for 3 terms.
3 terms?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
pretty
it was
sure
3
it's 3
terms, and
terms.
he's run, I believe, twice for county commissioner.
Correct, and he put his name in last time.
And I don't believe he was interviewed last time.
He was.
I don't think he was.
Yes, he
I don't.
was.
I
He
don't
was
know.
interviewed?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Gary Bockrath wasn't.
No,
No,
because
Gary
Gary wrote a
wasn't.
letter to the editor after the process took place, and
He didn't file out the Friday before they announced.
well, right, and I also want to mention. So you have
So Ed Forrest, I think, is another qualified individual.
very
as
very
well.
qualified, and Randy Wagner's a local realtor with Macintosh, and David Keller he's the former, I believe, first vice president of the Maryland State Firemen's Association, and is a volunteer firefighter. Wayne Kiefer is a young guy. He'll be 30 on February 26th.
And he's involved with Terry Baker's
Wayne Kiefer
congressional
is Terry
campaign.
Baker's congressional campaign treasurer.
Okay.
And Dr. Brenda Thiam, she's an autism specialist with Washington County Public Schools, and she is part of the Washington County Commission on Women. Very qualified. It seems like she's very involved in the community.
So we have Robin Weibel, who is the wife of
Delegate.
Well,
Bill
we
Weibel.
skipped one more person. It was William Harner, Jr.
Yeah, William
We miss
Harner.
him?
I
Sorry
couldn't
about
find
that.
too much about Mr. Harner, but he's 57. He lives in Keedysville, and I think he might be a former DNR officer, maybe.
Okay.
Oh yes, that's correct.
Is that true?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. So
Now the big name.
well, Robin, who's the wife of Delegate Bill Weibel.
The big name.
So the question would be: is having a county commissioner who is a spouse of a delegate, does that help our county?
Well, she's stepping in, if she was processed and vetted through the Central Committee, and they moved her in, she would essentially be fulfilling her husband's term that he was elected to. So
We've had that
we've
happen
had that in
before.
the past, but
Yes.
not
Beverly
necessarily. Beverly
Exactly.
Byron is a good example, but not necessarily.
Pat Cushman.
That was when
Yeah.
the spouse passed away.
Well, I just want to say this about Robin Weibel in that she signed up for the Board of Education. She knew that Spong stepped down on January 29th, okay? He resigned his position, and then Robin Weibel signed up late on the very last day to file, okay? Which was February 3rd.
A lot of candidates wait till the last hour
And that's
to file.
fine. I did. I did. But if she knew she wanted to run for the county commissioner seat, which, I mean, her husband once held the same seat, I would think that she already had an idea. She knew that the vacancy was coming. So why not focus on one seat? So the issue here, guys, is that Robin Weibel now has thrown this primary into chaos. It
Well,
was reported.
Primary?
Well, John Donahue.
Or
was-
this- I would call it primary.
Primary would indicate an
Wait a
election.
minute,
I'm
wait a
sorry.
minute, Ryan.
She
Wait a
had
minute,
her
Ryan.
back.
John Donahue was a sitting city council person when he
Board of
ran
Education
when he ran
primary.
when he ran for delegate job. So there's
Right.
an example of somebody
John
actually
Donahue.
in a sitting position. He was already a city councilman.
Right.
when he ran for the delegate
Right.
position.
So she
was
wants
elected.
another, she was applying for one job
Yeah,
while wanting
but
another.
Donahue had one and he ran, so I think that's an unfair criticism.
Well,
Because
I don't understand.
Donahue had a job.
But the
and
difference
ran for
is
a new
that this
job.
is an appointed position versus actually campaigning.
That's also, it's a good
So
point.
it's a
But
little
she-
bit of a challenge here. And my question, I think where Ryan was leading to, was she filed to run for Board of Education, but she probably already had in the back of her mind she was
Right.
going to submit as soon as the application process opened, because Mr. Spong, I don't know Woody Spong if he walked into the room right now, okay? Whatever transpired, transpired. We're moving forward.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, she knew that position was coming open.
Well, here's the issue, though. They can't take her name off the ballot for Board of Education
exactly
if she
right.
gets the appointment.
And what happens
And she'll get votes.
if she gets the votes and she's qualified for the next level?
So what happens if she makes it through the primary, and then there's 9 people, and that which would make a primary? She claims that she's withdrawn her name, but she's still on the ballot. That means that I think she makes it through the primary because she has the name recognition. That would bump someone else.
Well, I have a great idea. Let's just hope she wins the Board of Education. Let's hope she gets the appointment.
But
She wins the Board of Education election. The Republican Central Committee has to go behind closed doors again and appoint a person to fill the Board of Education position. And maybe 12,
actually,
and
no.
maybe 12 people will
No,
apply
because
for
it's
that.
nonpartisan.
Board of Education is a nonpartisan, so
That's
that
true, they
it would
wouldn't-
be the next highest vote getter. But what we're doing is losing someone in the possibly the next highest vote getter.
Right.
But what we're doing is we're losing a person in the process that could be vetted by the public.
I think
Okay.
Robin Weibel did a disservice to the rest of the candidates in that she signed up to run now to be appointed for this position. And I got to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if she does get the appointment because she's Robin Weibel. She's the Tea Party. She represents, my opinion, she represents a very, what they represent.
Okay. Carl, any
this
last
is-
thoughts?
No.
No?
No.
Ed?
No, we're good.
Okay. Next up, we'll talk about the mounting controversy at Mount St. Mary's University.